Now, Joy News can report that a contract awarded by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development for the procurement of 1 million waste bins and disposable bin liners has been inflated by at least 130 million Ghana cedis. After 9 months of investigations, Joy News found that all the 5 companies handpicked by the ministry to supply the waste bins are subsidiaries of the Jospong Group of companies. In the first of our comprehensive investigative series titled Robbing the Assemblies, Manasseh Azuriawone finds the Office of the President, the Local Government Ministry and the Jospong Group may be complicit in the questionable waste bins contract. Manasseh himself is here with me in the studios. Manasseh, take us to the beginning of this issue.
Well, it all began with a letter from the Chief of Staff, that's former Chief of Staff, Mr. Julius Debra. And this letter is dated the 15th of September, 2016. And part of it says, reports reaching the presidency, however, indicate that indiscriminate littering of waste is still a big challenge confronting the assemblies. And it goes on to state that they should take steps, that's the ministry, should take steps to award a contract or procure 1 million litter bins for household distributions across the country. So this is what happened. The ministry went ahead to write a letter to the Public Procurement Authority to get this contract executed through sole source or single source procurement method. And the PPA granted them this request in a letter dated 27th October 2016. So at the end of the day, 5 companies were shortlisted to be used for this project or contract.
So which companies were shortlisted?
Well, we have 5 companies: Universal Plastic Products and Recycling Company Limited, Yerko Plastics Ghana Limited, JSA Logistics Limited, Able Plastics, Plastic Recycling Limited, and Meridian Waste Management Limited. And these 5 companies, our checks have revealed that they are subsidiaries of the Jospong Group of companies owned by Joseph Siaon Ejapon. And they are to supply 1 million litter bins and 900,000 bin liners.
So all the 5 companies were going to do the supply?
Yes. So if you look at the letter from the PPA and what the ministry submitted to the PPA, it actually states how they are supposed to do it. The first one, that's Universal Plastics. They are to supply 350,000 waste bins at a cost of 21 million US dollars. Yerko Plastics Ghana Limited is to supply 250,000 waste bins at a cost of 15 million US dollars. And then you have JSA Logistics, which is to supply 150,000 waste bins at a cost of 9 million US dollars. And the final one is Able Plastic Recycling Limited, which is supposed to supply 250,000 waste bins at a cost of $50 million. So if you put this together, you would have $60 million for the waste bin. And then Meridian Waste is to supply the 900,000 bin liners at a cost of 14,040,000 United States dollars. So these are the companies to execute this project.
Do we know a bit more about the processes through which they were selected?
Well, the processes, for information I've gathered from sources that know about this contract, it said it was just like a decision to give it to these companies. And then to legitimize it, a letter was written to the PPA that gave us the permission to use sole sourcing. And the single source procurement method, they gave an excuse that we are going to use this method because because of the rains, there could be cholera outbreak, because normally to use single source procurement, you may be the only supplier of that product, or if it's an emergency situation. So they used that.
So the emergency route?
Yes, certificate of emergency. And if you look at the time, it is a period that we actually get into the dry season and not rainy season, because the contract was signed in, what's the name? November 2016. And if you look at this letter from the PPA, it is dated 27th October, almost in November, when we are actually approaching the dry season. Nevertheless, the process was okayed by the PPA, and then it was given. Another issue about this contract has to do with the cost.
Which is where we were going to. I'm told there's some inflation in there.
Yes, from what we have gathered, if you look at all these companies, they are all quoting $60 per liter bean. And at the time of the contract, the dollar was 4 cedis, 30 pesos. Okay, so if you look at this figure, then you are talking about 258 Ghana cedis per liter bean. That's what is quoted for this contract. But we have decided to do some background checks. One of the leading producers of waste bean is also a manufacturer or a supplier to the ministry.
Okay.
As of this year, they are advertising 135 Ghana cedis per waste bean.
135
Ghana cedis per waste bean.
Which company is this?
This is Qualiplast. It's even in the Daily Graphic. They advertise in the Daily Graphic.
Is it a local company?
Yes, they produce just a few meters away from Joy FM. They are at the North Industrial area or so.
Okay.
And they are also suppliers to the ministry. But I decided not to use their own their quotations. I wrote a letter also. I went to seek for a pro forma from one of these companies in the Jospon Group, specifically the Universal Plastic Products and Recycling Company Limited. And their pro forma costs 150 Ghana cedis.
150
Ghana cedis per waste bin. I took the pro forma in December last year. I took one around June this year, and then just last week I went for one. The price is the same. Now there's a component that talks about transportation, and we know the ministry awarded a contract, a similar contract, that included transportation. So they charged 15 cedis per waste bin for transporting the waste bins to the regions.
Okay.
15 cedis. But with this contract, when we're trying to do our estimates, we used 20 Ghana cedis. So if you add the 20 Ghana cedis to the
150,
then it should come to about 170 Ghana cedis per waste bin. But they are charging, this contract is quoting 158.
No, 258
Ghana cedis. We have a difference of about 88 Ghana cedis. And they are supplying 1 million, so 88 by 1 million will give you 88 million Ghana cedis.
So that's the difference.
The difference for the waste bins alone. Now, if you come to the bin liners, you're charging $15.6 per pack. They just said bin line. They didn't state whether it's a pack or single, but we decided to, even in the contract and also the letter to the PPA, they just said 900, but we decided to make it packs.
Okay.
And the pack, we took a pro forma from also this same company, and they are quoting 15.8 cedis a pack. But here they are quoting $15.6 a pack. So if you do that difference, then you should come to somewhere around a difference of about 46 million Ghana cedis. So if you add the two, you are getting about more than 130 million Ghana cedis. And that's from their own quotation. If you want to use quotations elsewhere, the figure can even be bigger than what we have.
So we went to the companies themselves, and they gave us lower figures than what they presented to the ministry.
What they presented to the ministry. And we have 3 separate quotations from these companies, some of which are executing this project.
Has the project begun? Have they started giving out the waste bins?
That is the difficulty. We have not been able to ascertain that, but from my tour of the regions, these projects or these waste bins have not got to the districts yet. The assemblies, they haven't received it yet.
Okay. But do we know if the monies have been paid?
We have tried to ascertain that, but nobody is speaking. I have written to all the parties involved, spoken to the former Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Collins Dowda, whose time this contract was awarded. He wouldn't comment. I reached out to former Chief of Staff, Mr. Julius Debra. He has declined comments. The Jospon Group, same. With the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, they have not commented since I sent them a letter on the 7th of April 2017. And as of now, we have not gotten a response from them yet.
Right, and thank you very much, Manasseh Azuri Awuni. Is there anything more that we are missing so far?
Well, there is another angle to this story that is equally scandalous. And hopefully by tomorrow, we shall bring that angle out with documentary as well as video evidence from across the country. We'll be asking if this contract was needed at all.
Wow. Thank you very much, Manasseh Azuri-Awuni, with our investigative desk. They're bringing us these details. So like you heard, you want to stay tuned tomorrow as well, where we find out if this contract was necessary at all. You're still watching News Desk.